when you start talking about being held accountable, yeah, I believe that there are good cops. But why aren't those good cops coming out saying something about the bad cops?
I see.
They are. They're being suppressed.
I see.
If they're being suppressed, I haven't heard. Why ain't they here? I'm saying that if the police, if there's good cops, how come they're not saying something about the bad cops?
Good point.
I hear Mayor Pete Buttigieg, he wants to run the country, but it seems like that he's deficient in running the city. I heard him just this morning celebrating the killing of Baghdadi, celebrating the death of a man, where his silence is celebrating the death of Eric Jack Logan.
Good point.
His silence is celebrating the demotion of Chief Boykins. We're saying that we need transparency. Well, this is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And if you don't release the information to the people, then we have elected a dictator.
Okay.
It is time for the power of government to be placed back into the hands of the people.
All right.
We have, to build on the Eric Jack Logan situation, we have a case that, again, that Jeff has followed, in fact, delved deeply into it, which was the Jihad Vasquez case, which occurred in 2011 before the mayor was elected, but the mayor's involvement came in 2012 when the mom went to him and said, my son was hung Klan style. He gave her a card and said, call me. She called him and he never heard back. To add insult to injury, he then hired the person who was the deputy coroner as the interim chief, Charles Hurley, who had been fired from the University of Notre Dame for lying about an investigation. And now we have a situation 8 years later, this mom is still trying to seek justice. When you look at the mayor saying that he wants the Sandra Bland case reopened in Texas, why can't you call for justice here in South Bend? This is
Good question.
When was he heard saying that?
It would have been within the last month. He and several of the Democratic presidential candidates called for the reopening of the Sandra Bland case when this additional tape was released. Well, we've got a situation that Jihad Vasquez's case was closed that day, and he was cremated in violation of Indiana law within 24 hours.
Damn.
No justice,
Let me tell
just
you one more
us.
thing. Pete Buttigieg came to Indianapolis to speak at the NAACP fundraiser. This man right here asked him, what about the tapes? He responded to the question, but he didn't answer it. Security came and got this man and ran him out of the meeting. Where is a legitimate question being asked by a citizen, and if he's running for president, then just because we live in Indianapolis, that puts us into the formula.
Right. Right.
Why can't he release the tapes here? How is he going to run the country and he can't run the city?
Right.
This man relegated out, called security, put him out of the meeting, all because he asked this man about some tapes that he says, I can't release them.
Which we know is a lie.
Definitely a lie. I can't release them because there is a federal investigation. The United States District Attorney says that there is no issue. That investigation is over. Pete Buttigieg, quit lying.
Right.
You know, the fact of the matter is, from the very beginning, obviously, if there was a threat of a federal arrest, Mrs. DePape and Chief Boykins would have been charged.
That's right.
12 years ago.
That's
So
right.
that was ridiculous. And Mrs. DePape is the only one that heard all the tapes. Tim Corbett used to always say, there's nothing on the tapes. I don't know what you guys are talking about, and there's only one person that heard the tapes, Mrs. DePape. Well, that's true. And she heard the corruption on the tapes. And the mayor's attorney, according to the September 30th, 2019 article by the Young Turks, clearly said they asked her 15 questions as to what she heard on the tape, including them bragging about setting up black defendants, criminal defendants. That information can be found in September 20th, 2019 article. New documentation raised questions about Buttigieg's demotion of the black police chief. This is beyond a travesty of justice. This is beyond a simple crisis of credibility of the mayor. This goes to the heart of the fabric of American justice.
Right.
The people have a constitutional, both state and federal, right to know. He is subverting and denying the people what the Constitution of the state and the country has guaranteed. No man has that power. No man has that authority. And this will not stand because the citizens, as you can see, are coming here from Indianapolis and around this country, are now engaged in this. This will not go away until what is on the tapes has been made public to the citizens.
Here in the city, I want to say here in the city of South Bend, as we can see, we haven't had the best leadership. And sometimes when this happens, it's a great thing to see other great leaders come forth to hold these leaders accountable. Now, what I hope that this press release brings is not only more leaders, but also the community. The community needs to be aware of what's happening, and if we all want to heal, then we would ask for your support to be aware of what's going on. Join us in the cause to get these tapes released, because it's very important that we all have closure to this crime.
If the mayor does not release the tapes, then it's on the common council to hold him accountable. That's how government works. They've been elected to hold him accountable. Talking about, well, I can see what was said on the deposition. No, nobody's memory is perfect. Listen to the tape. And if you do not release the tape, then that means that you are complicit.
Okay.
That means that you are taking part in the corruption. That means that you are part of the cover-up. No, don't drop the case. Push the case.
I hear you.
It's time for democracy to be here in South Bend, so everybody everywhere else can say, well, he not only talks the talk, but he'll walk the walk.
All right.
Right on.
Basically, they covered everything that I would have said or mentioned, but the only thing that I haven't heard yet, I'm sure it's in there somewhere, is this is just a beginning. This is just a beginning towards the cleansing of the country,
Right on.
the city and the state. This is a situation where we cannot, once that comes out, don't stop there. The reason, my answer to his question earlier about why the cops aren't here, 9 times out of 10, they don't feel supported by us. Because we're not loud about our support to them. And so my thing is that, in reality, as much stress as the good cops would put up with on a daily basis, I believe all it would take is just that comment right there, would have sent them out. They would have been afraid. So they're scared to speak
Well,
up.
play that comment, because I want to see
No.
it.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, I want to see
you're
it.
transparent.
Play
I'm
that
not
comment.
saying
Play
that,
that
but the
comment.
thing is that we as the people need to be there for them when they come out and speak against the cops. Not just that they spoke and come to their event and speak at them. Watch them when they go back in there.
True.
No.
Make sure they're safe when they go back in there.
We understand we have good cops, but are they good enough to hold each other accountable? That's the
We have
kind of
to
good
give
cops
them
we
that
need.
strength.
That's the question.
That's the kind of good cops we need. The kind of good cops that hold each other
That's
accountable.
right.
That's the kind of cops that build trust within the neighborhood and the police department.
But
And that's
say-
exactly something that's very much needed here in South Bend.
But say if a good cop comes out and speaks against a bad officer,
Right.
like David Hackett. Now, if he comes out and he speaks against them, and the people don't stand behind him strongly, when he goes back to his place of employment,
That's a
whichever
good
department he's going, they're going to abuse their authority.
Right.
Especially those
That's
same
a good
officers we
point.
were just speaking of. You have to be there and watch their journey from that moment forward. We have to literally protect them like they're trying to protect us by coming out and speaking to us. Good cops
That's
are
right.
trying, but if you want to mend that fence, remove it. Like there shouldn't be a blue line or a citizen's line. We're all citizens here. And if they don't live here, they should not be policing here. That's just how it goes. We are a community together because he has to still go shopping for his kids. She still has to go shopping for his kids. And whether it's an officer or a mother at home that's just a regular citizen, they still have to go take care of their families. So the thing is that at the end of the day, they're going to pick their kids over everybody else's, just like I would. And my thing is, it's just like everybody else that's watching would, because they're your babies.
Right.
And so my thing is that if we're going to speak against them, even when they come out and try to help us, forget and shush them because we don't want them too quietly. We have to, like, when they come out and speak, watch David Hackett.
There were hopefully good cops
Yes, sir.
on the spot when Eric Jack Logan lost his life. To my understanding, there were 6 cameras on the set. 3 on officers, 3 on dashboards.
All right.
Mayor Buttigieg says, well, the officer that done the initial contact, his camera wasn't working. So now, okay, I can buy that.
Okay.
The second cop's camera wasn't working. The third cop's camera wasn't working.
Okay.
The cameras in the cars wasn't working.
All right.
All 6 cameras didn't work. Where the good cops?
All right.
And if all 6 of them wasn't working, then y'all need to change y'all's provider. Cause y'all ain't got good cameras.
Getting money back.
But I bet you that all of them were working.
Okay.
But there's no transparency.
Right.
Release the tapes.
Right.
Yes.
Release the tape.
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 Release the tape.